What's up, guys? Hazy Games here, and tonight, wherever you're in the world, I am finally posting another video. I know that it has been a minute since I posted anything to YouTube. Life's been crazy, work's been crazy. I have been gaming. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I've been playing Diablo 4 Season 7, a lot of Season 7. That's what we're going to be talking about today, is Diablo 4 Season 7. And just gonna kind of jump right into it. I originally started playing a barbarian in my Season 7 journey and kind of transitioned over to a Dance of Knives rogue. And I honestly played the Dance of Knives rogue all the way to Torment 4. So let me just jump in here and log in, and we'll kind of talk about Season 7, give you my thoughts, opinions on it. I know obviously there's been other videos out there regarding Season 7s and people's opinion on Season 7, but these are kind of my thoughts. So real quick, I'm just gonna kind of show you my character here. We are Paragon 235. Got some pretty good gear, got everything maxed out with master working. I don't have any like crazy gear or what I would classify as crazy gear. I have everything I need except for the chest piece for this in-game Dance of Knives build. I need I can't remember the name of the mythic unique I need for the chest armor. But right now I'm using Trios Might, which is a great chest piece obviously to have. Really increases my survivability a ton. And then Fist of Fate, Will, boots, and then just some basic weapons and rings. Nothing too crazy. My amulet is actually doesn't have anything on it that is for my build, but it works. The Dance of Knives build was super fun. The leveling experience on this build was top tier, S tier. One of the funnest builds that I've played in a long time. I'd probably put it up there with the Tornado Barb. Tornado Barb was a lot of fun. This build reminded me of a Whirlwind Barb, a spin to win playstyle, and it was super fun. If you haven't played the Dance of Knives rogue, I encourage you to build one, level one up real quick. It's just a lot of fun, man. I'll just jump out here and I guess kind of show you what I mean. Like you just rip through guys, blow monster groups up. It's great. The one downside of this build though is I don't feel like I will be able to get very far into the pit. Like I'm not going to be hitting like crazy pits. Even like doing a level 70-75 pit was pretty, I shouldn't say challenging, but kind of sluggish going through it. And even as you can see on some of these guys, that it's not the quickest time of kill on these mobs at Torment 4, but man, it's so much fun. And we're really not getting too many good packs of monsters here. Here's some decent ones, but yeah, I mean, just look at this. Like, it's just a lot of fun, very fluid, not clunky at all, at least in my opinion. Decent survivability, decent damage. Definitely not top tier damage. I think it's like an A tier build at the end game, and even being an A tier is very low on the A tier scale. And you might be asking yourself, you know, why didn't I transition into an in-game build? Just kind of personal preference. I wanted to see how far I could get this build with the amount of time that I wanted to spend on Season 7. And I think I've kind of got to where I want to end Season 7. And I would honestly probably continue to play a little more. Let me go back to town here. Actually, doesn't really matter. But I would honestly probably play a little more, but there's some issues that I ran into with this game ever since the expansion, honestly. I think I talked about it in my last video when the expansion was released. So Diablo 4 struggles from a memory leak issue. The development team knows about the issue. They're aware of the issue. It just has not been fixed. And I know there's people that haven't experienced this issue at all. No problems. But I know I've read some Reddits, some Blizzard forums, and I know there's a pretty substantial amount of people that suffer from this memory leak. And I am now getting a different error, some graphic message error that comes up. So I don't know if they've fixed the memory leak and now this is a new error because of whatever they fixed. I don't know. But that was kind of frustrating again to deal with because I could play for probably like maybe 2 hours and then it was kind of a guessing game when I was going to crash. And it just sucked. You know, it ruined the experience. Like last night I was doing some Varshan runs and it had that graphical error pop up. So that kind of screwed up my run there and it's like, you know what? I'm just going to go play Final Fantasy VII. You know, like it's just frustrating. You shouldn't have to put up with that, especially in a game where what you're doing, like using your materials that you farmed and then you crash and then you lose those materials or any buffs that you have up. It's not good at all. But without that out of the way, I do think season 7 is probably one of the better seasons that I've played. It reminds me a lot of the season where we had the vampire powers, and I liked that season quite a bit as well. I just like all of the different witch powers that you can activate here. So all these are different witch powers. Geez, these guys are actually doing damage to me, but I'm not paying attention really. So you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these powers, and then one of these like legendary powers, I guess, or unique powers down here. And they kind of synergize together and do different things. I thought the system was very well done, very well put together. Reminded me a lot of, like I said, the vampire powers that we had, and I liked that season a lot. So I thought the witchcrafting, witch powers are good. I also did like the fact that with this, they brought in these other, I can't remember what they're called. We'll just call them gems. These other gems that give you plus 160 armor and 8% resistance to all elements. And then as well as your agility, corpse, mastery, weapon mastery, wrath, and potency skills deal 25% increased direct damage to hex enemies. Then we have this other one, does the same armor resistance, but then your common, growth, and decay witch powers are 35% more potent. And there's also a legendary one that I don't have because I haven't put the time into get the materials yet. That does something to help me with my ultimate ability, I believe is what it is. Anyways, and this season I found Tyrion's Might, which is an awesome piece. I've never found this armor on Diablo 2, and I've played a ton of Diablo 2, but it's kind of cool to find it here in Diablo 4. I think it looks amazing. Definitely a good piece of armor to have for any character, really. Helps your survivability a ton. What else? I don't like some of the changes they did to the pit necessarily, as far as getting to the end and we don't get obols anymore. Or not obols, the things to upgrade your equipment. You don't get the material for masterworking in the pits anymore. You only get them from Nightmare Dungeons, Infernal Hordes, and Undercity of Crust. It says you get them from the Undercity. I ran a few Undercities and don't think I ever got any, but maybe I had to like select it for one of the buffs in the Undercity to get that particular item. So maybe I just misunderstood what I had to do there. Still think that having the ability to use 2 Resplendent Sparks to get a mythic is really cool. Also think it's cool if you salvage the mythic uniques, you get a spark. Just gives you more chance to get mythic uniques. One thing that I think they still need to tweak is there needs to be a loot filter, because eventually it gets to a point to where you're only looking for legendaries, and then it gets to even a point to where you're only looking for legendaries with greater FXs. They just need a loot filter. That's all it really comes down to. As well as, I mean, look at my items. I don't have any item legendary item or unique item that has more than one greater affix, which is crazy to me for the amount of time that I feel like I put in and the amount of items and bosses and enemies that I've killed. So I think they still need to kind of tweak how the items drop or the chance you have at finding really good items, because it's kind of frustrating when you find, you know, 100 different daggers but none of them are upgrades, and then maybe a handful of them have a greater affix and maybe one out of the 100 has like 2, maybe 3, you know. Maybe that's just me being casual, but I mean, honestly, that's kind of the direction that I feel Diablo 4 is going, is more of a casual audience. But honestly, I've always kind of thought Diablo 4 was more directed towards a casual audience, except maybe for in the very beginning stages of the game when it first released. But it's definitely now, I would say, more of a casual ARPG, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I love logging on, blowing through enemies here, seeing the big numbers, getting the loot, upgrading my guy, upgrading my equipment, getting the skills, you know, killing the bosses. And it's all good, great fun. So this season I think was successful. I do think Diablo 4 is going in the right direction. And some people will probably disagree with me there. But Diablo 4 was never going to be like a Path of Exile or Path of Exile 2. It's not going to be a hardcore action RPG. I don't think it was ever intended to take that space up or compete for that space. I think they're trying to land somewhere in the middle. I don't know if it necessarily worked right out of the gate, but now I think they've done some things to improve it, make more quality of life changes that are better for the game, and make things more kind of fluid. I do think that getting Paragon points still seems like a chore, especially now that I have everything upgraded. Not really. I mean, yes, I'm still looking for upgraded items. You're always looking for better items, right? Well, there comes to a point to where I'm like, I don't think it's worth my time now to put in to look for better items, because what am I really working towards, right? I'm really just working towards being able to kill things faster and go further into the pit. That's where we kind of run into the in-game problem. I always bring this up. Just about every season I bring this up. They need more in-game stuff. They need more things to do. Yes, I know they introduced the 4-player Citadel mode. Yes, that's kind of cool, but we need more than that. We need something like maps that Path of Exile did, or the system that Last Epoch did, or the system that Path of Exile 2 came out with. Just something to like work towards, you know, like work towards these crazy in-game bosses, and that have some really sweet rewards. Work on the PvP system. I've said this numerous times, give us more PvP items or PvP playstyles instead of just an arena like fight to the death. Do something like a capture the flag would be cool. Do something where teams see how many monsters they can kill and how many waves they can get through against another team. I mean, I feel like there's so much potential there they could run with and do some great things with. And they just haven't done it. So hopefully, you know, the next season, season 8, they come out with something that's just as good as season 7, hopefully better. We always want the game to improve, always want the game to feel good to play, feel good to level up, feel like you're working towards something. And it's still towards the end of the game, you still don't feel like you're really working towards anything towards the end of the game, unfortunately. And that's where Diablo 4 has been plagued ever since it launched, in my opinion. But that's kind of all I have for you guys. Kind of talked about Season 7, just Diablo 4 in general, some of the quality of life changes, where I think it's at as far as more of a casual action RPG. Let me know what you think down in the comments about the expansion, if you ran into any performance issues or problems like I was talking about with the game crashing randomly. Very frustrating if you have. And just general ideas and thoughts of what you would do to improve the game, or how you think, what direction you would like them to go in the future. The next video you'll probably see from me is going to be my February giveaway, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Maybe it'll be this weekend, maybe it won't, maybe it'll be next weekend. Kind of see, like I said, life's been a little crazy for me. But thank you for stopping by. Please like, please subscribe. Have a good day or night wherever you're out in the world. Much love, and we will see you on the next one.